Hello, dear students. Welcome to the English class. In this hour, we will study about the lesson The Gardener, written by P. Lankesh. He was well-known Kannada writer and journalist also. He wrote this lesson in Kannada and it was translated into English from the writer H.S. Raghavendra Rao. He was also retired Kannada professor. Okay, dear students, now we will study about the writer P. Lankesh was born in the year 1935 and died in the year 2000. He is an Indian writer and journalist who wrote in Kannada. See, he was not only writer and journalist in Kannada language. After graduating with an honor degree in English from Central College at Bengaluru. From the Central College of Bengaluru, he got his graduation in English. He completed his Master of Arts degree in English from Maharaja College, Mysuru. From Mysuru Maharaja College, he got his Master of Arts degree in English language. Then P. Lankesh's first work was Kereya Neeranu Kerege Chelli. It was a poetic short story collection. It was published in 1963. See, his first work was Kereya Neeranu Kerege Chelli. It was short story collection. Collection andre chikka kathegala sangraha. After this work, he wrote many novels, short stories and poetries. Then, see, this was followed by several collections of short stories and poetry, 3 novels, critical essays and translations. He did many translations into Kannada language. Then his Charles Baudelaire's works are Les Fleurs du Mal and Oedipus Rex and Sophocles' Antigone was translated into Kannada from P. Lankesh, as well as several plays and films. His the film Pallavi in the year 1976 got an cinematic narration told from the female protagonist. Protagonist means heroine points of view and based on his novel Biruku, won India's National Award for Best Direction. See, his well-known novel Biruku got an cinematic narration as Pallavi and it got National Award for the Best Direction. Okay, now the translator H.S. Raghavendra Rao was born in the year 1948. He is retired professor of Kannada language. He has worked at National College, Jayanagar, Bangalore. He worked as Kannada lecturer in the National College of Bangalore, Kannada University, Hampi and Central Institute of Indian Languages, Mysore. He worked in Kannada University, Hampi and he worked in Central Institute of Indian Language, Mysore also. He is a well-known literary critic and translator. Critic means vimarshakara. Well-known critic and translator. He has published more than 10 works of literary criticism. Here, more than 10 works he critically analyzed and published. Translated works. His translated works are Art of Loving. It was translated by Erich Fromm's work. This Matter of Culture was translated from the Jiddu Krishnaswamy's work. From the Orient short stories, he translated Iruvegalu. Then from the German short stories, translated Balamedhavi. From 100 poems from Africa, he translated Kappu Kavite. Then from the writer Ted Gooser, he translated the work Manju Manu Mauna and Hattu Dikkina Belaku was translated. He is the recipient of many prestigious awards because of his translation and for his literary critic work. He was awarded with many prestigious awards. Okay, now we will study about the lesson, the gardener. Dear student, the gardener, in this lesson we find the severity of rivalry. Rivalry means enmity. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಪಾಠದ ಮೂಲಕ ಪಿ ಲಂಕೇಶ್ ಅವರು ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನುಷ್ಯನನ್ನು ಅಸೂಯೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಸೇಡು ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ದ್ವೇಷ ಮನೋಭಾವನೆ ಅಂಥದ್ದು ಎಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವನನ್ನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೂಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಮನುಷ್ಯ ತನ್ನ ಒಂದು ದ್ವೇಷವನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ದ್ವೇಷವನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸುವಲ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಕೆಲಸಗಳಿಗೆ ಅವನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಮಾರ್ಮಿಕವಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣನ ಕಥೆಯ ಮೂಲಕ ತೋರಿಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥವ ತನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾದ ಒಂದು ಗದ್ದೆಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ. ಆದರೆ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣನ ಒಂದು ಹೊಲದ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಹೊಲವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಗದ್ದೆಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಸವಯ್ಯ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ವಿರೋಧವನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸ್ತಾ ಬಂದ. ಆ ಬಸವಯ್ಯ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದ್ವೇಷವನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸೋದನ್ನು ಕಂಡು ಮುಂದೆ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣನಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಬಹಳ ಬಸವಯ್ಯನ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೋಪ ಉಂಟಾಗಿ ಬಸವಯ್ಯನೂ ಕೂಡ ಮೂಢನಾಗಿ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ದ್ವೇಷ ಸಾಧಿಸುವಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಂದಾಗ್ತಾನೆ. ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣ ಬಸವಯ್ಯ ಇಬ್ಬರು ತಮ್ಮ ಮಧ್ಯದ ದ್ವೇಷವನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡೀ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯೇ ಒಡೆದು ಇಬ್ಬಾಗವಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಇವರಿಬ್ಬರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇಡೀ ಹಳ್ಳಿ, ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣ ಮತ್ತು ಬಸವಯ್ಯನ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಈ ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಹಂಚಿ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಮುಂದೆ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣ ಅವನ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಸಂಪತ್ತನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಸವಯ್ಯನನ್ನು ದ್ವೇಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೋಲಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ತಾವು ಸಾಧಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ದ್ವೇಷದಲ್ಲಿ ತಾನು ಗೆಲುವನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಮೊದಲು ಶ್ರೀಮಂತಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪೈಪೋಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮುಂದೆ ಆ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಕೈಬಿಟ್ಟು ತಮ್ಮ ಚಾತುರ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸುವಲ್ಲಿ ಪೈಪೋಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಚತುರ, ನೀನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಚತುರ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಇದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಅತಿರೇಕದ ಹಂತವನ್ನು ಅವರ ದ್ವೇಷ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಅವರ ವಿರೋಧ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಟ್ಟಿ ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಅವರ ದ್ವೇಷ ಬಸವಯ್ಯನ ಸಾವಿನೊಂದಿಗೆ ಅಂತ್ಯವಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಬಸವಯ್ಯ ತೀರಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನ ಆಗ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣನಿಗೆ ತನ್ನ ತಪ್ಪಿನ ಅರಿವಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಆ ದ್ವೇಷ ಸಾಧನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರೀತಿ, ಜನರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸವನ್ನೇ ನಾನು ಮರೆತು ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. ಇಡೀ ಜೀವನದಾದ್ಯಂತ ನಾನು ದ್ವೇಷವನ್ನೇ ಸಾಧಿಸ್ತಾ ಬಂದೆ ಹೊರತು ಪ್ರೀತಿ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸವನ್ನು ನಾನು ಗಳಿಸಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ತನ್ನ ತಪ್ಪಿನ ಅರಿವಾಗಿ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣ ತನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತಿಕೆಯನ್ನು, ಆಸ್ತಿ ಪಾಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಡೀ ತನ್ನ ಊರನ್ನೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೂರಾರು ಮೈಲಿ ನಡೆದು ಬಂದು ಗದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತೋಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸದಾಳಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಈ ಒಬ್ಬ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣನ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮದ ಫಲವಾಗಿ ಆ ತೋಟಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ತೋಟದ ಯಜಮಾನ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಸಂಪತ್ತನ್ನು ಸಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಆ ತೋಟದ ಯಜಮಾನ ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಹವ್ಯಾಸಗಳಿಗೆ ಇಳಿದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಆ ಯಜಮಾನನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಯಜಮಾನನ ಕುರಿತು ಒಂದು ದಿನ ಆ ಗದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲೋಚನೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಕುಳಿತಿರುವಾಗ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣ ಆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದ ಕಥೆಯನ್ನು, ಈ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಕಥೆಯನ್ನು ತನ್ನ ಮತ್ತು ಬಸವಯ್ಯನ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ದ್ವೇಷದ ಕಥೆಯನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಗಳನ್ನು ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿನ್ನ ಯಜಮಾನನು ಕೂಡ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ತಪ್ಪನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಆ ತಪ್ಪಿನ ಅರಿವಾಗುವವರೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವ್ಯಾರೂ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಹೇಳುವಂತಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ನಾನು ದ್ವೇಷದ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞೆಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಬುದ್ಧಿಗಳು, ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಬುದ್ಧಿಗಳು ನನಗೇನಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅರ್ಥವಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೊನೆಗೆ ನಾನು ಆ ದ್ವೇಷದಿಂದ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರಲು ಬಸವಯ್ಯನ ಸಾವೇ ಕಾರಣವಾಯಿತು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಠ ಕಲಿತು ಯಜಮಾನ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನ ಅನ್ನೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ತನ್ನ ಜೀವನದ ಈ ಕಥೆಯನ್ನು ಆ ಯಜಮಾನಿಯ ಮುಂದೆ ಇರೋದನ್ನು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. Dear students, the lesson talks about the severity of rivalry, of enmity. Okay? See, elaboration can only impoverish this account and make it less authentic. I conceived this story in a flash. See, P. Lankesh talks about how he conceived, how he is able to write this story about the gardener, about the person who is standing beside the field, beside the farm, coconut farm, and by looking his appearance, the writer P. Lankesh able to write about the gardener. See, it has its genesis in my chance encounter with an old man. See, the writer says, when I saw that old man was standing beside the coconut farm, when I saw that old man, I can able to write the the work called the gardener. See, he was standing in a coconut grown near Chennarayapatana. Grown means ತೋಟ, ಫೀಲ್ಡ್, ಬೆಳೆದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೋಕೋನಟ್ ಬೆಳೆಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ತೋಟದ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ವೃದ್ಧ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ನಿಂತಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಅವನನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನನಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಗಾರ್ಡ್ನರ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಕಥೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರೆಯುವ ಒಂದು ಆಲೋಚನೆ ಹುಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. That got genesis in my mind when I saw that old man standing beside the coconut grown. His eyes were suffused with strange memories and native intelligence. That old man who was standing beside the farm, whose eyes were very much attracted and they were suffused, means they were covered and filled with strange memories and native intelligence. With his eyes, he looks really a talented person. He stood there, a tall figure. Here he narrates about the old man. How does he look? His hair's gone grey, a long beak like nose and strong muscular arm. In one hand a spade used to tend coconut trees, a newspaper tucked under his arm. He was a laborer, overseer and philosopher, all rolled into one. See, P. Lankesh says, I wanted to write the story called The Gardener when I saw that old man standing beside the coconut farm, and his appearance looks very much attractive as his eyes were filled with knowledge and intelligence, and his hairs were gone grey and his long beak like nose was very much attractive and his muscles are very much strong. In one hand he had spade means ಕುಡಿಗೋಲು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. He had spade in order to cut the tender coconuts, and he tucked a newspaper under his arm, as if he looks like a laborer and philosopher and overseer ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಮೇಲ್ವಿಚಾರಕ. ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಯಜಮಾನನನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಒಬ್ಬ ವೃದ್ಧ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಅವನು ಒಬ್ಬ ಕೆಲಸದಾಳುಗಳ ಮೇಲ್ವಿಚಾರಕ ಮತ್ತು ಒಬ್ಬ ತತ್ವಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏಕತ್ರಿತವಾಗಿರೋ ಥರ ನನಗೆ ಕಂಡು ಬಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. The writer says all was rolled into the single person. He looks like a laborer, overseer and philosopher. Then he came to this garden one day after walking hundreds of miles. That old man came to that coconut grove from walking hundreds of miles. The owner of this plantation needed a person exactly like him, and the owner of that coconut plantation was also in the search of the worker like the old man, and the owner appointed the old man as a laborer in his coconut farm. A few words were exchanged and few agreements were made between old man and the owner. Then the old man stayed on. Then the old man was appointed as a laborer in the garden in that coconut farm. He was really useful. And this old man become very much useful for the owner of that garden, of that coconut ground. Why? Because he was well versed in agriculture and could understand the problems of the workers. See, that old man was very much well versed. Well versed means good at agriculture. ಬೇಸಾಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಒಬ್ಬ ವೃದ್ಧ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ನಿಪುಣನಾಗಿರೋ ಕಾರಣ ಆ ತೋಟದ ಯಜಮಾನನಿಗೆ ಆ ವೃದ್ಧ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಸಹಾಯಕವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ that old man could understand the problems of the worker. He can easily understand the problems of the worker, so they can able to solve the problems of the worker easily. Like this, that old man become very much useful for the owner. The petty thefts in the garden came to an end. Thefts, ಕಳ್ಳತನಗಳು, ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಕಳ್ಳತನಗಳು ಆ ಒಂದು ತೋಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಆ ಗಾರ್ಡ್ನರ್ ದಟ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್, ಯಾವಾಗ ಆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾನಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾರ್ಡ್ನರ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸದಾಳ ಆಗಿ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಅದಾದ ಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಕಳ್ಳತನಗಳು ಕೂಡ ನಿಂತು ಹೋಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ದ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಗಾರ್ಡನ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್ ಡ್ರಾಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕಲಿ after the arrival of this old man. That garden started giving more income to the owner. There was a perceptible change in the lifestyle of the owner. Perceptible, gananiya. Perceptible change can identify in the lifestyle of the owner. When the owner become rich, his lifestyle also changed. The plantation expanded. He started improving the plantation, but the owner become lethargic and shied away from the hard work. Lethargic, somaric, and shied away from the hard work. He stopped working hard in the garden, in his farm. His wife found all this very strange. See, owner's wife is started worrying about the changes of her husband. After the arrival of the old man, they started getting more income from their garden. But the thing is, her husband was shied away from the hard work and his lifestyle was also changed. Now that owner of the garden, the wife of the owner, is worrying about her husband, and she was thinking, she found it hard to deceive whether the old man's arrival was for the better or for the worse. Now she is in confusion that the arrival of that old man is for the good or for the bad. ಆ ಒಬ್ಬ ವೃದ್ಧ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ತೋಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು ಕೆಟ್ಟು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಆ ಯಜಮಾನತಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥವಾಗದೇ ಹೋಯಿತು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ her husband was started involving with the bad habits. Her husband's wealth and social prestige has risen higher. Her husband was risen higher with the social prestiges and in wealth also. He acquired a number of friends in the next town and an equal number in his own village. When he became rich and he got social prestige and he has able to get good more friends from his village and from the outer villages also. Even though he had precious little to do, he had in his field, now he don't have any work to do. Why? Because all work was done by the old man. His life became crowded with colorful events. He is not working, her husband is not working in the field. Then also he can get more profit from the field because of that old man. So he was always involved with his friends. He always covered with many friends, and now his life was colorful. She became apprehensive about his adultery and umpteen other vices. Adultery means vyabhichara. Now owner's wife come to know about his adultery, umpteen other vices and other bad habits. See, cultivated lately, he come to know about her, his adultery and other bad habits lately. Then, thanks to his newly acquired clot, now clot means here the labor. They got a newly good labor, but she is in confusion that whether that good labor is useful for them or not. Their farm, which was merely 10 acres, had grown beyond their imagination. Now their 10 acres land is growing more than their imagination. That was fine, that was good, but their life also was gradually getting out of their hand. Their field, their garden was growing more than their imagination, but their life was also not in their control. Day by day, her husband was spoiling with his friends and he involved with many bad habits that was not beared by the owner's wife. When she was in a fix like this, fix means confusion, one day the old man met her and behaved as though he knew all about her plight. Plight means problem. When she was worrying about this matter and when she was alone in the garden, this old man come to her and the old man started talking with her as if he know about her problem. And the old man smiled at her and brought down an offering one tender coconut from a nearby tree. And that old man come to her, he smiled towards her and he brought one tender coconut for her. He sat on the embankment of the well, edge of the well. Embankment means edge of the well. She had no alternative and she sat next to him. They both sat on the edge of the well. The sun was slipping away into the western horizon. His rays were reaching the wall on the well through the foliage of coconut, mango and jackfruit trees. Now this is evening time. They both are sitting on the embankment of the well and they are talking about the owner. The old man began his narrative. The old man started narrating about her problem. In a far off place, that old man is Thammanna, and Thammanna started telling and narrating a short story in order to convince the owner's wife about her problem. See, in a far off place, ದೂರದ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ, once there was a man called Thammanna. See, that Thammanna started telling about his own story, and he says, there was the person called Thammanna. He had everything. He is a rich person. He had good friends. He had everything. 10 acres of wet land, 10 acres of good land. He has good property. He has a comfortable house, a big good house. People ready to do his bidding. Bidding means whatever he says, people are there to do, and many followers are there to follow him. The most important among all this possession was his rival Sangoji. That Thammanna is very much rich person, has a good big house, and he has good friends also. Along with this, he got one possession, that is his rival Sangoji, and along with all those things he got one person and one extra merit, that is his rival Sangoji. ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ವೈಭವಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅವನು ಒಬ್ಬ ದ್ವೇಷಿಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದ. ಯಾರು? ತಮ್ಮಣ್ಣ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಆ ಅಜ್ಜ ಆ ಒಂದು ಓನರ್ನ ಹೆಂಡತಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. After proceeding this far, the old man started fumbling for words as though he had committed a mistake. he was listening, she felt like going away. See, after telling all these things, that old man started fumbling. Fumbling means ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತುಗಳಿಗಾಗಿ ಹುಡುಕಾಟ. He started fumbling. Why? Because as if he is behaving that he did a mistake. ಏನೋ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಥರ ಆ ವೃದ್ಧ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಕಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ತಡವಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ತನ್ನ ತಡವಡಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿ ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಹೆಂಡತಿ, ಓನರ್ನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಆ ಸ್ಥಳದಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡೋದು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಆ ಸ್ಥಳದಿಂದ ಎದ್ದು ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಆ ವೃದ್ಧ ಮತ್ತೆ ತನ್ನ ಕಥೆಯನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸೋದು. ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನನ್ of my concern, however. Unwilling to hurt the old man, she continues to sit there quietly. Then the old man went on. No, his name was not Sankosi. It was Basavaya. See, she's just thinking that all this is none of my concern. Whatever this old man is telling, it is not related to me. So she wanted to go away from that place when this old man started fumbling. But that old man controlled himself and he proceeded in his talk, in his story, and he says, no, his name was not Sangoji, it was Basavaya. He took the name as his rival Sangoji, but he changed that name into Basavaya. No, his name was not Sangoji, his name is Basavaya. He expressed this amazement at how facts take on such valid guesses when they are narrated as fiction. See, that old man is worrying and he was surprised that he wanted to hide his own story into others' story. But unknowingly, the same word, the same name Sangoji, who is his real rival, he took his name here, but he has not to take. So he changed his real Sangoji name into Basavaya. Now he is surprised that how reality comes to tongue easily. Then let that be. The old man says, let it be whatever his name, it may be Sangoji or Basavaya. Let us assume his name was Basavaya. Now we will think that Thammanna, who has everything, he is a rich person and he was followed by many people, and his rival is Basavaya. He has a rival, his name is Basavaya. He was Thammanna's rival. If Thammanna brought 4 more acres adjacent to his land, Basavaya also followed the suit. Here, that Thammanna started talking about their rivalry, how that Basavaya always there to maintain rivalry with Thammanna. If Thammanna takes some 4 more acres adjacent to his land, if beside his land Thammanna brought 4 more acres of land, Basavaya also followed the suit. Basavaya will also tries and he will also buy the more land how that Thammanna brought. If one had 10 friends, the other acquire 14 admirers. If Thammanna has more friends, this Basavaya will also try to have more friends like Thammanna. Like this in every aspects of the life, Basavaya is showing his rivalry with Thammanna. Whatever Thammanna does, Basavaya also does it definitely. To begin with this small competition, initially it looks like a competition. As Thammanna does, the same thing was done by the Basavaya. It looks like a competition. They are competitors, but this competition turns into enmity, into rivalry. To begin with, in the starting, all this looked like healthy competition, and Basavaya thought that this Thammanna and both are doing competitions. All the villagers thinking that both are doing competitions. However, gradually that competition it rose to such a pitch that there was no land left in the village for them to buy. See, now in this competition, both brought all the lands of the village. Now there is no village left for them to buy more. All land belonged to either Tammanna or Basavaya. In that village, all the lands they belonged to Tammanna, otherwise Basavaya. No land left to buy more. Tammanna had 1,000 acres and Basavaya wanted 800. Now the land of Tammanna is 1,000 acres and Basavaya won 800 acres. Then Basavaya could not tolerate this. Basavaya is unable to tolerate this. Why? Because he has less land than Tammanna. Tammanna has 100 acres land, but Basavaya only 800. Tammanna had 1,000 acres land. Basavaya has only 800 acres land. Then, okay, dear students, now we will stop. Remaining, we will continue with the next lesson. Thank you.